Hey, welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to look at what happens when some really futuristic technology meets a very old-fashioned public space, the city sidewalk. In Chicago, you've got these boxy little food delivery robots zooming down the streets, and they have sparked a huge debate. And this isn't just about convenience, right? It's a battle for personal space, pitting that futuristic efficiency against the simple act of just walking down the street.
And get this, they're not your new neighbors. They're delivery robots with these surprisingly human names, bringing everything from Shake Shack to Taco Bell to doorsteps across the city. And while the names might sound friendly, their presence on the sidewalks is turning out to be anything but simple.
So you might be wondering, how did we even get here? It kind of feels like they just appeared overnight, but their arrival has actually been in the works for a couple of years. Let's trace how they rolled out.
It all started with this small pilot program back in 2022. But from there, companies like Coco and Serve Robotics, well, they just took off. Now, here we are in late 2025, and they've partnered with over 100 restaurants. These things have become a daily, and for some, an unavoidable sight for a lot of folks in Chicago.
Okay, so let's flip the script a little. What's the argument for these robots? From the company side of things. What's the big idea here? Why are they putting these things on our sidewalks to begin with?
This quote here from Serve Robotics' Vice President of Policy really gets to the heart of their whole argument. He points out that about half of all food deliveries are for super short distances. We're talking less than 2.5 miles. And what does that mean? It means our streets are just jammed with cars making these tiny little trips.
So the pitch is that these robots are the answer. They're presented as this safer, more sustainable way to handle all those short trips. The companies say they cut down on traffic, and hey, they're a better alternative to distracted human drivers because, unlike us, these bots can supposedly see in all 4 directions at once.
And of course, to tackle the biggest concern head-on, the companies are quick to say that safety is their absolute top priority. They claim they follow these really strict protocols, including ADA compliance, meaning the robots are designed so that sidewalks stay totally accessible for everyone, especially for people with disabilities.
Yeah, but a lot of residents just aren't buying it. In fact, there's this growing movement pushing back with a really simple, powerful message. Our sidewalks should be reserved for, well, people. Period.
And that's the core message right here, from a petition started by a Lincoln Park resident named Josh Robertson. It's just a clear line in the sand, and it's an idea that's really started to gain a lot of traction all over the city.
And it's not just a few people. Over 1,500 folks have signed on. And they're not just asking for, a few new rules. They're demanding the city hit the pause button on the whole program and really look at the impact these machines are having on everyday life.
Okay, but here's what's really interesting about this slide. It's the detail behind the signatures. This isn't just some abstract protest, right? The petition includes 350 specific, personal incident reports from residents detailing their negative run-ins with these robots.
And this just lays out the divide perfectly. On one side, you've got the companies saying, hey, we have strict safety and accessibility rules. But on the other side, you have residents saying, whoa, hold on, we're being pushed into busy streets and there are major accessibility problems. A lot of them feel like this tech was just, poof, parachuted into their neighborhoods with zero real conversation.
The guy who organized the petition, Josh Robertson, he describes this really unsettling feeling that a lot of people share. It's that moment when you, a person walking on a sidewalk, are forced to step aside for a corporate machine. And yeah, something about that just feels off.
So the big takeaway here is all this pushback, it's actually being heard. The community's response is starting to get some real action from city officials. They're finally stepping in.
So you've got local leaders in some of the hardest-hit neighborhoods launching these surveys. They're going directly to residents and asking for their firsthand experiences and opinions on a really basic question. Should these bots stay or should they go?
This whole local debate in Chicago, it brings up a much bigger, almost philosophical question, right? This isn't just about a few little delivery bots buzzing around. This is about the future of the spaces we all share. This quote from an Uptown resident just nails it. It asks a simple question. Where do we as a society draw the line? If we say yes to corporate delivery robots, what's next? What happens to the one last public space that was designed just for people? And in the end, this isn't just a Chicago problem, is it? It's a question that every single community is eventually going to have to deal with.
As technology keeps racing forward and changing our world, we have to decide, what does the future of our public life look like? And what kind of neighborhoods do we actually want to build for ourselves?